Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to make a way to be able to take the hot air from this diesel heater and blow it into my house through one of my windows. Now I only want to do this in like an emergency situation for like if the power's gonna go out and it's in the middle of winter and I just need a way to heat up heat up a room in my house, let alone just let it run and blow into my house. My question is though, can I run a diesel heater through my window and actually keep my house warm for, let's just say like a power outage is like 12 hours. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and build something that I can put in my window and cut a hole in it so I can pretty much put this, this vent through and screw it into here and be able to run this diesel heater outside, but that hot air is gonna blow in through my window. So I went ahead and bought a bunch of materials and we'll see if we can get it to work. And if it does work, will it actually keep my house warm for 12 hours when the temperature outside is supposed to be in the low to mid 30s? Okay, so I went upstairs and I measured the window that I want to put this piece of board in. And it measures out to be right under 32 inches. That is at the shortest area of the window. And what I want to do is I want to cut a board. So I want to cut a board that's about 31 to 31 and a half inches. And I'm going to surround it with this pipe insulation that I got. And I've already measured this vent ring right here, and it's a little under 3 inches. So I'm going to cut a 3-inch hole in the board. I'm going to go ahead and cut it to 31 and a half inches long, and I'm going to cut it 6 inches in height. So that way it gives me about 1.5 inches on either side of this thing. So just for structural integrity, I guess you could say. So let me go ahead and grab the board and I'm gonna start cutting. So here's what I've got. It's definitely not perfect, but I cut and miscut and cut and miscut so many times that this is probably about as good as I can get. So let's go ahead and take it upstairs and see if it will fit in the window. I'm sorry about the noise, but my neighbor is mowing their grass when it's almost dark outside, so just bear with me. But let's go ahead and open up the window. All right, let's see if this fits in. It should fit right into here. And I wanted it to be tight. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that is nice. Look at this. Oh. Yeah, it's nice and tight. So like my corners, even though they're not perfect, they are compressed down. So this is perfect. I am super happy about that. So yeah, let's go ahead and take it back downstairs and cut a 3-inch hole. And then we'll go ahead and try to set up the diesel heater outside and get some hot air blowing in here. Okay, I kind of want to put it to like this side over here. So that way it's not like blowing onto that chair all the time. It's more towards the middle of the windows. Okay, this is 6 inches. So I want to put it right at the 3-inch mark right here. And I need to make a hole that's 3 inches. So it needs to be from here, 1.5. So here's gonna be the top of the circle, and then 3, 4.5. That'll be the bottom of the circle. All right, now I've got this tool I got from my grandpa. I believe it's called a compass. Is that what it's called? Or a protractor? Anyway, let's go ahead and put this in the center. And it doesn't have to be exact. It just has to be big enough to cover this because look, we've got all of this lip right here. So it can be off by, geez, up to 1/4 inch and still fit on here just fine. It's pretty tight, it has a little bit of give, but it fits on there just fine. And it is going to be screwed on, so it's going to screw itself in. So I'm not worried about a little bit of play. All right, well, it looks like we're all done. So let's go ahead and take it upstairs, put it in that window, and hook up this diesel heater. All right, well, here's how I have the diesel heater set up so far. Got my window wall in, my vent wall, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just screw this thing into there. I'll have to open the window and hold the other side to screw it in. And then I should be able to bend it and connect it to here. It's on these blocks. It's not really what I wanted, but it's gonna have to do. And then my exhaust port is gonna screw in right here and just hang down. And I wanna make it so this, this drip hole is facing down. So let me go ahead and get that done. All right, well, it is raining out here right now still, but I've got this all connected. And then at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'm going to simulate a power outage. And I'm just gonna turn off my furnace and turn this on and see how the temperature in my house is affected in a 12-hour period. So I will see you at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Well, good morning, everyone. And it is about 6:57 in the morning right now. In about 3 minutes, I'm going to incur a power outage, but only for my heat to my house. I'm not actually going to turn the power off to my entire house. But I wanted to show you, first of all, just what it looks like outside. And actually, you can see that we got some snow last night. Yesterday, the high was 58, and now there's snow on the ground. And the high today is going to be 33, it looks like. Let me show you the app on my phone to kind of show you what it looks like for the next 12 hours. And with that being said, I guess I want to also tell you what I have in my house. I'm only going to be burning that 5 kilowatt heater in this one room. And I'm gonna leave all the doors open because I want the heat to kind of go everywhere. I have a smart thermostat, so I have 3 sensors. The main sensor is in the hallway of the house, so that dead center house, ground floor. And then I have another sensor that is in the front room. That's pretty much the farthest point on the same level of the house from the diesel heater. And then I have a third sensor upstairs in the far bedroom, which we've converted to an office. And that is pretty much the farthest point from the diesel heater, being upstairs and all the way on the other side of the house. My house is about 2,000 square feet. The basement door I will be leaving shut. So that's not going to be included in the square footage of this house at all. And again, here is the window with my diesel heater vent. And it is right at 7 o'clock, so let's go ahead and initiate our power outage. Here is the app for my, my smart thermostat. So I'll just go ahead and go to More, click on the little heat button, and switching it to off, and OK. All right, our furnace will no longer kick on, and this test is going to last until 7 o'clock tonight. Next thing I want to do, since we don't have any more heat, is I want to click on this diesel heater behind me. So I'm going to the Bouge RV app, and the battery I put on there is also a smart battery, so I'll be able to switch over to that app as well, and we'll kind of watch the startup to see how much power it actually uses until it gets regulated to the temperature that I want, which is going to be full blast for a little bit. But let's go ahead and click on this diesel heater. All right, it says booting up, about 1 to 5 minutes. And also this Bouge RV diesel heater has just been sitting outside all night because I set it up last night. You know what, and I don't know how weatherproof it really is. I know that these types of diesel heaters are not supposed to be run indoors. You know, you're not supposed to have the diesel heater indoor and then having the exhaust outside. These ones are really made to be sitting outside with the vent blowing in. But I honestly think that if you're gonna have it like that, you should be able to expect it to run outside in any weather condition. It's not gonna be sitting out there all winter. This is just for for an emergency. So in this emergency, it's going to be snowy and rainy all day. And I'm not gonna run out there while it's freezing to try to find a cover or some sort of whatever. I just want to set it out there and get heat. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, let's go ahead and switch over to our battery so we can see how much wattage is going to be drawn from the battery. All right, here's our battery right now. And you can see that it is actually pulling 106 watts, 7.6 amps. Like I said before, the battery is at 100% state of charge. And from here, I can start to hear the ticking of the fuel pump. The fuel, I ran it for like an hour and a half yesterday, and I never filled it back up. So it's probably at like 4.5 liters of fuel in there right now. And that will be another thing we'll be monitoring is, you know, maybe halfway through this test, we'll see how much fuel we've used and possibly have to top it off. So, and you're not supposed to fill it while it's running, so I'll have to shut it down to fill it and then turn it back on. And while the house is still hot and this thing really isn't blowing out much heat, let me go ahead and show you the temperature of my house right now. Here are the 3 sensors I was talking about. On the main floor, that's my main one, so that's in the hallway or in the middle of the house, and it shows 70 degrees Fahrenheit. The craft room, which is the upstairs far bedroom, is at 67 degrees, and the front room, which is on the same level as the main floor, is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Those we'll also be monitoring to see how the temperature changes in the house throughout the day. The air blowing out is starting to get a little bit warmer. We're still pulling 100 watts, but I believe as this thing warms up, that should drop down to about 50 watts. And it looks like it's gone down to 33 watts, actually. The air is getting warmer and warmer. It looks like it's stabilized to about 35 watts. Combustion efficiency is 99%. Current voltage is 13.2, because I feel like it's trying to turn off. Oh, it's because it's at 1.4 kilowatts. Let's turn this all the way up. All right, it looks like we are at our full 5 kilowatt heat range, and the power is right at between 46 to 49 watts. So I can expect this battery to run for 27 hours. So the battery, 100 amp 12 volt battery, is perfect for this 12-hour situation. All right, well, the test has begun. Heater's on full blast, house is turned off. So I will come back to you probably around noon, and I will let you know what the temperatures of the house are, along with the battery, and if I can see the fuel gauge, I will show you that as well. All right, well, now it's a little bit after noon, and I went ahead and wrote down the temperatures of all the rooms that I've been monitoring, plus the outside temperature every hour. So let me go ahead and just put that on the screen. You can see that the temperatures in the house have basically stayed the same for the past 5 hours. I mean, there's a 1 degree difference. The only room that is getting cooler, actually, is I have a thermostat in my upstairs bathroom, my master bath, and it has gone from 68 down to 66. But that's really the only room that is really seeing any significant change. The outdoor temperature has gone up 2 degrees, but it's been 34 degrees for the past 3 hours. So let's go ahead and look at the fuel gauge on the diesel heater. And this is a 5-liter diesel heater, and it is down below the 2-liter mark now. You can see, you could barely see the line. I put my finger right on the line. So I think in the next hour, probably between 1 and 2, I'll have to shut it off and fill it back up, probably to like 4 liters, and then restart it again. All right, and then also the state of charge of the battery. At 12 o'clock, our battery was still at 81%, and it did say it could handle another 20 hours, but it was constantly pulling that 48 to 50 watts. So yeah, we're right on mark for being able to run this and still have about 50% of that battery left after this 12-hour test. And all in all, everything is running very smoothly. I mean, the air is nice and dry and hot in that room. I do have a CO monitor in that room. And on this sheet, the room I'm referring to is called Living Room. And that monitor does have a humidity and a temperature monitor on there as well as the CO2. All right, so that's the noon report. I'll go ahead and get back to you at 7 p.m. when this test is finished. All right, everyone. Well, it is now 7 p.m. and this test has concluded. And it was honestly the most boring test I've ever done. I was really expecting the house to get like cold, except for one room, the room with the diesel heater vent in it. I thought it would stay warm, but then like the rest of the house would kind of just get cold. And it didn't happen. The house really didn't move much at all. The upstairs bathroom actually shifted the most. But first I want to show you the amount of diesel that I had at 7 o'clock. I tried to point to it. It's so dark outside and I'm shining a flashlight through and I could not see anything. But I think I caught a glimpse of a little bit of waving of liquid, and so I kind of pointed towards it. I mean, you can see that there's a darker image right at the 2L, the 2 liter mark. That's not it. I know that for a fact. Even though it totally looks like it, it's not. So I want to say that I started this test, I ran it 2 hours the night before, and then I ran it for 12 hours today. And I ran through a complete 5 liters, and then I ran through another 2 liters. So 7 liters of diesel altogether for 14 hours. And now here's a screenshot of the battery at 7 p.m. Again, I charged it all the way to 100% starting this at 7 a.m. So in 12 hours, that diesel heater used 600 watt hours, would be my guess. And it does say that it still ran that for an additional 13 hours. So, I mean, all those numbers make sense. It looks like you could run a diesel heater with a 100 amp, 12 volt lithium iron phosphate battery for about a day on high. If it lowers down at all, you'll get more out of it. But if you keep that thing at 5,000 kilowatts, it'll last about a day. Okay, now let's look at the numbers. Every hour, I took whatever the temperature was in these 5 different rooms and the temperature of outside as well. And you can see at the very beginning of this, the main and the front and the craft room and the bedroom, 70 degrees, 68, 66, 68, 67, and it was 32 degrees outside. 12 hours later, not having a furnace running at all through this house, only having a diesel heater, it's still at 68, 68, 66, 65. That's the most where that bathroom is. The living room actually went up to 68. The living room is where the vent is for the diesel heater. And the outside temperature was 29 degrees. These are all in Fahrenheit. So like I said before, every time I wrote them down, I was just amazed. I mean, I actually kept like pushing down to make sure that the readings on the thermostat were fresh. I was like, there's no way that we're keeping this house at this modest temperature with no furnace and it being 32 degrees outside. But this is a house and it's highly insulated. And honestly, my windows, they're probably about 5 years old. So that really helps as well. But I think having that diesel heater and it only being 32, 35 degrees outside, the diesel heater was able to keep up with not having the house get cooled down too much. I think if it was 0 degrees outside, this would be a much different story. So that's all I have. I hope you learned something from this test. I did. I feel a lot more confident that I can actually do this diesel heater if there is a power outage, and actually know that it will keep my house relatively warm for at least 12 hours. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about what I did, please go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll have a link to whatever items I used in my description, just in case you want to look further into them. Thanks again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.